Hello everybody, it's Wendy here from Indigo Blue Team. Just got a little tag project to share with you and we'll go through it right now. So first of all, what I've done is I've used one of the new tag templates to cut out a large tag from watercolour card. These are great. We've all got dies, but this just means we don't have to get the dies out quite as often, and you can just draw around these, cut it out, and it's quick and simple. Earlier on today I put some texture paste through a stencil which is now soaking so that it doesn't get all gunked up. The texture paste is now nice and dry, so we're ready to move on with our project. What I want to do is to spray this with some of the Vivid ink, but I don't like getting spray everywhere. So what I use is a spray box, just any old little cardboard box. I put some rice paper or deli paper in the bottom of the box to take any overspray, so that I've got something that I can use for die cutting or backgrounds or anything like that, stamping over, and it just means that I'm not wasting any of the ink. So hopefully this is ready to go and we can give it a good spray. So here goes. Gorgeous colour. This is Catch a Moonbeam. Beautiful golden yellow. I just felt a spray on my arm then, so some of it's escaped. Give that a good spray. I want it nicely covered, but I don't mind if it's a bit mottled, and when it dries that mica will give it a mottled look anyway. So remember, with Vivids the trick is once you're finished, dunk it in some water, which I've got just over to one side of me, and then give it a wipe on a cloth so that the nozzle is nice and clean, ready for next time. Okay, right, so let's have a look. This is looking rather nice. I'll just put the spray box to one side, and that's great. It's picked up a little bit of colour from the paper that's in there just at the bottom there, which I don't really want, but the rest of it's looking great. I think what I'm going to do is dry that off with my heat gun, just for the sake of speed. Normally I'd probably go away and make a cup of tea and let this dry off on its own, but we want to move on. I can already start to see some shimmer, so this is going to be lovely. Okay, so excuse the noise from the heat gun, and we'll get this dried. Include some of those grips. That's that bottom corner. This is why Kay has her really speedy heat gun, so that she can do this in a matter of seconds. I don't really want to turn the heat gun up onto its high setting, which I use for embossing, because that really will burn off a lot of the colour, and I don't want to do that. Of course, when I get better at doing this video stuff, I'll be able to pause it and restart it, and you won't have to put up with all this in the middle. But for now, this is as good as it is. I want it nice and dry because I want to do some stenciling and a bit more stamping over the top to give it a bit of depth and a bit of texture. And off to the other side a bit. Look at some of the bend. Okay, let's see how that feels. I think we can probably get away with that. Okay. Right, so what I'm going to do is use the little stamp. The focal points that I've used for this tag come from this stamp, Cherry Blossom, this gorgeous sprig of flower. And this stamp here, this Dotty Circles, also comes in this collector's edition Spotty Circles. We've got 3 different sizes here, and I think this one is more or less the same size as this, so I'm going to use this one and see how we get on. What I'm going to do first though, before I do the overstamping, is just add a little bit of extra detail with some distress ink. I'm going to use one of the new stencils and use some Dusty Concord distress ink just to give a little bit of extra colour. It's like most things when you're putting through a stencil, you don't think you've got any impression, but then when you lift off the stencil, it's looking okay. You can see those spotty bits and pieces, just gives it a bit more interest. Okay, that's okay, enough of that. So the next thing we're going to do is use our Spotty Circle, but I'm going to stamp this with a little bit of gesso. Now, because the indigo blue gesso has got titanium white in it, it comes out really well, and it means that we don't need an extra white paint. We can just use this as a white paint. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this, move those out of the way, onto my paint mat, which is just here to the side. Spread it out a bit. I don't want it too thick. And then I'm just going to pick up some gesso on the stamp and stamp in a few places, remembering to stamp off the edge to make it look a bit more natural. I want another one. Where to put the other one? Down here, I think. No, I think I'll go over here. Still needs a bit more. Okay. just give, I'm going to pop that into some water so that the gesso doesn't set all over the stamp and block up the detail. I think I just might add a little bit of the distress ink with a few splodgy bits. That's good because hopefully that'll just pick out the colours that I've used for painting the this little splodge stamp is also from that Cheeky Blossom stamp set. Okay. Clean up that gesso off the mat. These paint mats are great. They're washable, waterproof, not heat resistant, so don't use your heat gun on them. But if the gesso sets on it, it does take quite a bit of scrubbing to get it off, so easier to do it while it's still wet. Okay, so I'm happy with that so far. It's not too fussy. I've got the colour that I wanted. So now where to position my focal points. As I said, I used this Cheeky Blossom stamp set, and I've gone ahead and cut out and coloured the main stem. I've done it again and just cut the little bottom part off because I'm not sure whether I don't want to extend it somehow to make it a bit longer, maybe like that, but we'll see how it goes. I've coloured in with the indigo blue paints, and I chose the new Barney Purple colour, which is this lovely magenta. I used some Wimberry Pie. This is an old one that I've got that's still in the old packaging, and they blended together quite nicely on the petals. And for the stems I've used another matte paint, Run Forest Run. So that's all done and they're nice and dry, so it's just a case of deciding where they're going to go and whether or not I want that extension piece in. I'm thinking that I do actually. But before I stick that down, I want to have a look at my sentiment and whether I want any other bits. I've raided my scraps box and I've got some bits and pieces here. But what I also like to do is have a bag of stuff already done. This is it here. So I have all sorts of bits and pieces. I sit in front of the telly and just glue or staple together bits of scraps that are kicking around in one of my boxes, so that when I come to do a journal page or something like this, I've already got some bits to start working with and I don't necessarily have to start from scratch. I'm quite liking that. The music's quite nice, but I like the music to be the right way around. I can't be doing with music that's, you know, in a vertical, and I don't want too much of it, so maybe that would work, although I don't really want it sticking out that far. No, I think I'm just going to have that and pop that on there. This is something from one of those overspray pieces that I was talking about. A little scrap of that just stuck on some fabric and a little bit of cheap lacy stuff, and I think that will do the trick. I don't want anything else. Don't want anything more. No, I think that will do. I think I'm going to use one of the things that I already had, and I shall glue that down with some grab and go. So opened up the nozzle, just put some on there, and stick it on. Does what it says on the tin. It grabs it really, really quickly. So in terms of a sentiment, I dug out the Mindfulness #2 stamp set, which has got some really lovely sentiments, really lovely phrases on it, and I chose this one. Never mind searching for who you are, search for the person you aspire to be. So I've already gone ahead and stamped that and embossed it, and it's a case of now how I'm going to cut it up and where I'm going to place it. But before I do that, I think I want to ink it, and again I'm going to use Dusty Concord to give that some colour so that it doesn't fade into the background. So I'll find my brush again. Here it is. And I'm just going to give that a going over. Bit heavy-handed in the middle there, but never mind. And I think the obvious place to cut it is into the two pieces. Never mind searching for who you are, search for the person you aspire to be. So with my scissors, we'll make sure I get the cut through, and if you're not great at cutting straight lines, do it in a curve on purpose. So we've got that there, and this one will come down here. Right, so I think I can stick down the floral piece there. Just a little scraping of glue across those stems. Yeah, that'll go down there nicely and fill a bit of space. Press it down. Sometimes your hands are a bit inky like mine are, because I've been messing with Vivids this afternoon. It's a good idea to have a clean bit of paper between your fingers and your work so that you don't transfer the ink from your fingers to the work that you've just spent the last half hour doing, because that's quite annoying. So all I've got left to do now is to put these on. I think I'm going to raise those up on some foam blocks. So I'll just have 2 or 3 on there. And the same on the other bit. And we're good to go. sure I get these the right way round. Okay, I think that's about done. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon. Bye.